Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. It's YouTube's greatest travesty, and today, as the coach of the Carolina Cast Forms, we are contesting ourselves against another one of the top teams in the Pokemon Invitational Cup. Yes, that's right. I said another because we are up there. We are currently 5-2. Winning this would make us 6-2. Losing this would make us 5-3, which would make playoffs a little bit harder for us because then we have a little bit of a contest going on there for the playoff spot. But if you guys are hyped, before I even get started, be sure to hit up that like button and all that good stuff. So we are going against the Kutztown Krookodiles and their coach Rosebud's a sled. This man had Mega Swampert. He is currently, I think he was 5-1 at the time of us battling. And yeah, he has a scary team because he has a couple mons out there, comfort picks, and this man drafted straight up Smogon, as I'm sure you guys can see on the screen. He brought Lando, he got Talonflame, he got Jirachi, he got Snorlax, he got Whimsicott, but he also has Mega Swampert sitting in the back, which I was pleasantly surprised to see because Mega Swampert is a monster. And fun fact, in Season 1, I questioned, even though I'm like, at that point in time I was very inexperienced in League format and battling in general. Like I had some experience, but not in like a competitive setting, like a constant competitive setting. And it was my first ever league. I was really surprised Mega Swampert did not get drafted because I thought it was a good mon. Swiftson doubles its speed and it hits like a truck. I think when Adamant is like 400 and something attack. Like what? And then Waterfall, Rain Dance, boosted. Oh, there's not much I can take that. So I was really prepping for that. I brought Tornadus T. I decided to slap a Choice Scarf on it. It's able to actually outspeed Lando and kill it with an HP Ice if needed. It also has Sludge Wave, Air Cutter. Because I wasn't 100% convinced on the Swampert, but I had to prep heavily for it. Also, Air Slash, I believe, is a 2-hit KO, while Mega Swampert cannot 2-hit KO Tornadus, if I remember correctly. Since I am running Timid. Air Sled and Heat Wave for the Jirachi. Then we got Clefable, defensive. It's running I can't remember the name of the berry. It's the berry that makes poison type moves don't do as much damage because you know what? He has a Cacturn that knows Poison Jab. Well, has the ability to learn Poison Jab. And yeah, I was really afraid of that. Jirachi, I know, unless he's like runs a banded Jirachi, I know I can eat up hits from it and kill. So I wasn't really worried about Jirachi as much in terms of Clefable because he just the makeup of his team, he doesn't really need offensive banded Jirachi. that does sound fun though. I kind of want to run that. And then he has Talonflame, which is a monster in its own right because it can run Spadef, it can run the bulkier set, it can also be fully offensive and kill everything. But yeah, I brought Druddigon for that. And Druddigon is defensive as Butts is Rocky Helmet, Dragon Tail, Stealth Rock, Glare, and Roar. I actually ran Roar because it goes past subs, and Cacturn subbing, I'm not having it. No, it's not going to happen. Then we have Mandibuzz to defog away. It also has Foul Play because everything on this team does not want to take a Foul Play. It is also fully defensive. And yeah, Mandibuzz honestly is just an all-around chat to his entire team except for Whimsicott and Jirachi. So I was just like, it's time. It's time. It's indubitably that time. And then we got Mega Metagross because you know what? Who wants to come in on a Mega Metagross? Like, seriously, on his team, he's got what, Lando? Okay, well, that's probably going to be a Scarf Lando, which I did put enough speed to invest. If it was not Scarf, I would outspeed, and that means I would kill it. But, you know, yeah, that's a thing. So, Lando T, unless it's Scarfed, I have a couple checks for that with HP Ice, Tornadus, and then I also have Suicune. Which brings me to my next thing. I decided to bring a Calm Mindset, but I did not bring Krookodiles. I brought Calm Mind, Scald, Ice Beam, and Signal Beam. The reason why Signal Beam? Well, it's holding the berry to make grass hits, not do anything. So I can actually bait in the Cacturn with the Suicune and just Signal Beam and kill it without taking much damage myself. Because I believe a Seed Bomb will only do like 40%, so it would only do 20 because of the berry. So yeah. And like I said, he brought Cacturn, Lando, Talonflame, Jirachi, Snorlax, and Whimsicott. Okay, so looking at his team, my win con actually is Mega Metagross automatically. I have Grass Knot on like 3 out of my 6 Mons, just because it's a Swampert. But I look at its team, and Mega Metagross actually kills everything. So my first priority is actually get up rocks, because Talonflame's super weak, and he does not have a Defogger. So my first objective is to actually get up rocks as soon as possible, but I need to do that in a manner where I can do it as safe as possible. So we're going to go ahead and get into the battle here, as I'm going to go out into Conflable as my lead, because I'm actually predicting the Lando. Now I want to see if he stays in, because this Mon actually does get access to poison type moves in Sludge Bomb. So I was kind of curious if he was going to stick in. He does not. He takes the Ice Beam. He's obviously revealed himself to be Thick Fat, honestly. Thick Fat Snorlax eats that up. Even if he wasn't Thick Fat, he would eat that up, though, to be honest, because I have no special attack investment. But I have revealed the Ice Beam really early on, so he knows that he can't stay in on Clefable. And PCs, based off of the U-turn damage, you could probably see that it is defensive. So he's going to be able to get that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch out into Druddigon here on this. He's actually going to Heavy Slam, get the crit, which, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. Unfortunately, that does cripple me a little bit more than I'd like. He goes out into Jirachi. I'm going to Stealth Rock. Now, this actually scares me because Jirachi gets access to some very special moves. So I was curious if he actually decided to run a special Jirachi set. Which is the reason why I'm actually going to pull out the switch here and go out into my Mega Metagross, because I know I can eat up a Fairy type move, as he goes for the Ice Punch and freezes me. So my situation here is my win con just got heavily crippled, and I don't know if I can rely on it. I immediately look at Mons that he can stay in on and burn turns freeze. First Mon is the Jirachi. The Jirachi, just looking off the damage that it did right there, I'm assuming it to be either Spadef or AV. I mean, not Spadef or AV, but I'm not expecting it to be very invested in attack. So just because the damage didn't do anything. I mean, even though it's not very effective and Metagross does have good defense, it's just, I would think it would do a little bit more damage. So I'm frozen, so I need to choose my turns to where I can try to unthaw, which my win things for that one would be the Jirachi, honestly, and the Lando if he's like banded or scarfed into some move besides Earthquake. Whimsicott is also a very viable choice. So we're going to continue on. I'm going to actually stay in. I click Ice Punch here, actually, guys, because I felt like Lando was going to be the choice option. I Mega Evolve. I go ahead and go for the Ice Punch. I do not get it. I'm going to switch out, expecting for him to Earthquake, as he actually goes for the Stone Edge, which really hurts Mandibuzz right here. As I'm going to have to stay in and roost up off of this. I actually could have switched right there, and it probably would have been a little bit better. But I get a little bit more HP. It was a bit more risky because I could have got critted. I'm going to go again back out into my Suicune, because I know Suicune can eat this up and fire off an Ice Beam, as he can just go out into his Jirachi here. I kind of wish I just Scalded. I went for the Calm Mind just in case he went to anything besides Jirachi. But after seeing the damage that it does, he has to be Spadef or AV. It's just a fact. He goes for the Thunder Punch, and I'm actually going to have a little bit of fun because Metagross does not play games. He goes ahead and he Ice Punch and crits. Now, before anybody says anything, that crit did not matter on the fact that it killed Lando, because I was adamant. This is an adamant Mega Metagross, and it would have one-shot it no matter what with Ice Punch. Unfortunately for him, though, I did Unthaw and crit. He didn't have anything on his thing that would want to take a Ice Punch, Tough Claws boosted crit. So, I mean, honestly, that's probably his best Mon to switch into, because if I stayed frozen, he could have just EQ'd next turn and killed me. But, unfortunately for him, I do get the crit. Now, he's going to go into Talonflame here because he knows that he could probably do something against me. He's actually going to go for the Willow. The reason why he goes for Willow here is because he's the faster variant, and if he burns Mega Metagross, it changes up the whole thing. So now my win con is back into play, and in the back of my head I'm like, okay, I can go back to my original plan and begin phasing right now because he brings out Talonflame, which means he has to roost here. And I'm completely fine with that, honestly, because I know that Druddigon can phase this mon out effectively, and he wouldn't be able to do anything. I also have the ability to just click Glare if I want to. And Glare is honestly the safer play just because it cripples every single thing on his team. So, yeah. I'm going to actually go for the Glare here, I believe. Because, yeah, I do go for the Glare because I was thinking he might want to go into Whimsicott here. If he goes into Whimsicott, I get a para on Whimsicott. And that's pretty big for me just because, I mean, even though he's Prankster and he can move first, he becomes automatically slower if he's any offensive variant or anything like that. Because Whimsicott does have the ability to be ran offensive, and I really can't put that past Rosebud's Sled just because of the fact that if you look at his matches, he has been fairly unpredictable. I wouldn't say he's the most unpredictable person in the league, but he definitely has had some moments of brilliance just based off of how he team builds. So now he goes out into this thing. I don't know what this thing is. I'm expecting it to be the Life Warps, Sword Stance, Sucker Punch, all that good stuff. As I just glare him, I'm going to actually go ahead and take this moment to phase him out with a Roar. He sets up spikes, which tells me that he is actually Spike Setter, something that was completely out of my mind. I was not predicting that at all. I push him into Snorlax. He's going to go right back out into Cacturne, as I am going to glare again. The reason why I glared again there, guys, was just because of the fact that if I parried Snorlax, that would be pretty big. He gets paralyzed, unfortunately for him, as I am going to just Dragon Tail him out. He goes into Talonflame. I die into the burn right here. So Talonflame is sitting at 1%. I can go out into Suicune here. And honestly, he can hit me up with a Brave Bird. It is not going to kill. And it's not going to do anything, really. And I'm just going to Scald here just because there's no real other reason to do anything else. He's going to go Whimsicott, and then he doubles right back out into Jirachi. I guess he's trying to see what I had. And I guess he was thinking I may have throw a Toxic out there. He goes for the Thunder Punch. He does get the Paralysis. This Jirachi is getting him all the hacks here. So I'm actually trying to go for Foul Play here because I know Foul Play will actually do a lot of damage and set it up to where Mega Metagross can kill. Not just Mega Metagross, a Tornadus T can actually kill and just honestly be able to destroy everything on his team. And I go for the Foul Play here. I get a crit. Now the crit there did matter. I'm not going to lie to you guys because I believe a Foul Play from me was like 55%. I think, if I remember correctly. So if he was Spadef, 55 I think was the max or something like that. I can't remember the exact calc, but it did matter. I wouldn't have O-code him right there. So unfortunately for him, it's like Lady Luck's on my side. It didn't look like it was on my side at the very beginning. He's going to go ahead and go out into Can't Turn Down for what, and I go for the Foul Play here. He debonds, which is very interesting in my opinion, and he takes down my little Rizzy Poo. So I'm going to go out into Tornadus because, you know, I have Sludge Wave, and that's going to break the sub. And I don't mind locking myself in the Sludge Wave because it hurts his team, honestly. He throws a Toxic on me, which is completely fine because I can live. And he's going to go out into his last remaining Mon, which is a Snorlax. And I believe this thing is banded at this point just because Heavy Slam did so much to Druddigon. He locks himself into Earthquake, and now I know I just win with Tornadus. There's no reason for me to switch out, then let something take the EQ damage, because that will hurt. But yeah, this was a really fun match. It was a little bit hacksy. There was hacks on both sides, honestly, but unfortunately for him, I did get the Foul Play crit, which did matter. I mean, I don't believe it changed the outcome of the game solely because I believe he was AV, and with him being AV, unless he had Drain Punch, he wouldn't have been able to do anything. Honestly, he was Iron Head. If he had Drain Punch, I mean, he didn't really have anything to Drain Punch on either, like unless you count Suicune, but I know he's Spadef, so I'm not going to have Suicune in against him. So, I mean, Mega Metagross had a Hammer Arm and was Meteor Mash and could kill the Whimsicott. So, I mean, I don't think it changed the outcome of the battle. I just think it changed how the battle went. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. But, I mean, he did get a freeze onto Metagross. Thankfully, Mega Metagross did not want to go down like that. And, you know, he was a fighter. So if you guys enjoyed the video and if you guys are a proud fan of the Carolina Cast Forums, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more matches from the Carolina Cast Forums as we continue to shake up the forecast. We are now 5-2. We are not 6-2. Not yet. We will be. I can guarantee we'll be 6-2. Not trash talk. But I guess this is a good time to actually explain why, because now we had if you guys haven't watched other people's videos or anything like that, or haven't kept up with the PIC, unfortunately the Chester Chinchouls have withdrawn from the Pokemon Invitational Cup for their own particular reasons. Nothing really to be said on that one. So my next match would be against the Chester Chinchouls, but because I don't have an opponent, I am, can't do it. So with that being said, I am technically 6-2 because we just have a 3-0 forfeit go to my favor, and that's just how the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. So I'm going to work on some Pokemon Invitational Cup content for you guys next week, but with us being 6-2, that leaves 2 matches left for us to play in because we still have our bye week at the end of the season. We go against next Crimson Seabat in 2 weeks. And the Detroit Steel Wings, and then we also, after that, we have to fight the LA Doublades, the team that we went against last year. And I'm really excited for both of these because Crimson's a great battler, and so is Carson. And Carson was actually the person I battled last season as well, and it was a pretty fun battle. He overwhelmed me with how much better he was at me at that time. So it'll be interesting to see how far I've came when it comes down to going against him, because so far, I have been able to avenge myself against every person I've lost to in Season 1, and I'm happy about that. So, without further ado, guys, thank you guys again for watching. Peace. I'm out.